You'll never believe this, dude. I match with people all the time on Riot, and they message me and go, "Oh my god, I'd love to shoot with you." And I used to just not reply, and now I'll respond and be like, "Really? Like, are you kidding me?"
No, Sam.
I'm serious. Like, your jawline looks more defined.
No, I think this hat looks too big on my face. I do it backwards, but I was worried because, dude, it's getting out of control. No, I got a full swoop. I'm like Justin Bieber circa 2013. Are we rolling?
That's not a bad thing.
We are rolling, so we can just run with all this. Here we are. Welcome back to Impaulsive, the #1 podcast in the world. We're goofy-looking dudes, but, man, we sure do numbers on that Apple App Store. So if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for listening, watching, viewing, and subscribing. Sam Dameshek is back. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sam Dameshek to the podcast.
What's up? What's up? Where do I look again?
Wherever you want.
You can look anywhere you want.
All right, I'll just be like this.
Yeah, anywhere you want.
The whole time.
If you want to make eye contact with the audience, you got something to say, you want them to feel you,
Okay.
look right into that camera right there.
Got
the
it.
Roman camera where Caleb's manning it. But Sam, it's good to have you back. You were a great guest the first time, and one of the few recurring guests we've had on the show. I'd say less than 5, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it was always top of mind because I feel like obviously we all do. Well, hopefully, like every year you grow
Yep.
so much. I think it was about a year ago, right? Like
I have no idea.
something like that.
Something like that.
I could have been 12 or I could have been like a year ago. I don't know. But yeah, I'm like, I'd love to do it again. Like,
Yeah.
I'd love to be on again. I'm like, I don't know if he does that. I'll just hit him up. And
So you feel like you've had some tremendous growth, some tremendous personal
yeah,
growth.
I feel like I went from like, I mean, I'm still a boy. I'm coming into manhood, but I feel like
Sure.
I matured and grew up a lot. And
Sure. How old are you again?
21.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's finally the age where I'll agree with you. You've always been the young buck.
Yeah.
In the circle, right? I was always impressed by how youthful you were, and you wouldn't know anything.
Yeah, I
about
know
that.
nothing about. I was never 21. I was 16 once, and then I turned 40.
You just skipped it. Just went
Skipped all the
straight
years.
to it.
May 6th, you were here, by the way.
Wow. That was
So over a year.
May 6th, 2019, the day after Cinco de Mayo.
that was.
Did you have any drinks on Cinco de Mayo 2019?
No, of course not. Mom, my family's here, by the way, guys.
Can we show the
Oh,
family?
yeah.
They all look
Can-
like Sam.
Can they
It's
say
Sam
hi?
Dameshek times 4.
Get over here. Get
It's
over
Sam,
here.
but Sam and Sam again. It's are all Sams, just different sizes.
Yeah.
This is great.
Different sizes.
You may have said this on the last show, forgive me, but you clearly were born somewhere in Southern California, correct?
Yeah.
I could just tell, like, looking at your family,
if you couldn't tell.
your brother looks like he went surfing already this morning at some point,
yeah.
or hit the skate park.
Skateboarder? Skateboarder? No.
He does it all.
Scoot.
Mountain bikes, skates, surfs, skims.
Their hair is incredible.
He
If
takes pictures too.
Wow.
He's an entrepreneur as well.
You know, I heard about these kids growing up. I seriously did. I heard about you guys because I'm from Ohio, right? I didn't know y'all existed with the long blonde hair.
Surfer
I know
dudes.
the activities.
Yeah, you thought it was just on Nickelodeon, you know?
No, swear to God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're real.
What was it in?
You want to touch it? Yeah. See, I have a pulse and everything.
That's incredible.
I know. It's
What was
wild.
the show Jamie Lynn Spears was on?
I don't know who that is.
What'd you just say?
Sorry.
What'd you just say?
Jamie Lynn Spears?
It's Britney's sister.
Oh, right. My bad.
Britney,
Yeah,
bitch.
that one.
Nah, you lying.
No, I don't.
You're really young.
Am I? Okay, sure. How old are you again?
25.
All
I'm,
right.
I'm young too, but to not know Jamie Lynn Spears. What was the show she was on? How? Zoe 101. Come on.
What is that?
Nothing? Nothing.
I feel like
Well, I don't know because I'm on the other side.
Maybe
of the
I'm dating
spectrum.
myself. This is Zoe 101.
Well, at least you're dating somebody.
Pacific Coast Academy.
It was filmed at Pepperdine University.
Yeah.
Oh, Pepperdine.
Yeah.
Listen,
And
let's cut the bullshit. So you're friends with Logan's ex. What's that like? Look, I'm sick of this back and forth about Zoe 306. Like, shut the fuck up. Who cares? You're best friends with Josie Canseco. How's that going?
you got to choose a side, Sam. I'm not.
Come
gonna,
on.
you-
Oh,
by the end of
don't
this
even. Don't.
By the end of this podcast,
You know, I'm
will
just.
choose
I'm
a
gonna.
side.
I'm gonna put him on blast. I feel like I see him regularly, and it's are you guys friends? What's going on? It's kind of like it's a back and forth. So I'm indifferent until I mean, hopefully I'll never have to not be indifferent. I feel like that'd suck, you know?
We're all adults here.
Yeah.
Can you be
mature.
bribed to be on one side? Like,
How
for
much
example,
would it cost?
there's a big
This-
fight coming up.
This is helping. I'm sorry, Josie. This is being here, you
Yeah,
know?
she don't have a podcast.
Don't tempt her.
She starts a podcast despite me, goes #1 on the iTunes
Dude,
store. I can never say we're the #1 podcast.
She's adventurous. She might. might go for it.
That'd be cool.
Don't challenge her.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, but you're not only friends with her. You're friends with man. You're in the zeitgeist, dude. Like I scroll on your Instagram, and it's one of the most impressive like portfolios I've seen in my days. Right.
Okay.
Here's Sophia Richie. Here's Ian Dior, who we just had on our podcast.
Oh, hell yeah.
There's Halsey and Sydney Sweeney.
Mm-hmm.
And the list goes on. And you just shot the... Come on, Sam. The cover for... The exclusive alternate cover for Justin Bieber and Shawn Mendes' Monster?
Yeah, I might have just done that. That's something I did.
Where was this...
It was...
this music video done, by the way?
It was done in California. I think I can say it was in this area, but it was in a park. It was really cool. They built like this giant box. And
Yeah, how did that happen?
They just production. They like set up this giant box, and I think it kind of had some inspiration from like the Truman Show with the stairs, and then they had these huge. I'm like I nerd out about lighting and all that stuff, making something look like something it's not, So they had like these giant lights that made it look like moonlight and fog, and it's perfect too because it was in October, so it really like it just hit the spooky, but not too spooky vibe.
Mm-hmm.
It was digestible.
You into the spooks in general?
Need-
You spooks guy?
Keep it a little spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't I see you at a Halloween party?
You did. I tried to be more invested in it this year. Do you ever do that thing where you're like, oh, I'm gonna get a funny costume, or I'm gonna do this, and then you just never do it, and then you're like, you have no idea what to put on.
It's my worst nightmare.
Yeah. So I tried to like I went on Amazon Prime just trying to find like dumb stuff for like the weeks leading up to it. And I'm semi proud. Like we got some good stuff. The night.
Well, you were an Italian gangster.
Yeah.
Still owe me $1,500 fucking dollars.
I know. Hey, it's Vinny Mancuso.
Yeah.
That was on Halloween.
Wait, hold up, Sam.
What's up?
Your fucking cap. Your cap is fuck right now.
What do you mean?
Bro, you had me bring you chains. Like you didn't even have a full costume.
Okay, but hold on. The night before, I was a toilet, like
That's
an inflatable toilet, had legs
that's
coming out.
cool.
Yeah. So look, you're in Los Angeles. There's like 5 Halloweens. This year it was less. It was only like 5. I feel like sometimes it's October 2nd and it's Halloween for like 20 days.
Yeah.
And it's exhausting. It's horrible.
Yeah, you got to choose like 5 different outfits. I'm not into. I know people that will change outfits per party.
Yeah, per night.
Why?
They're into it. They're set. That sounds difficult.
Yeah, you're like me. You're like me, man.
I'm a creative guy, but I'm like, I just get stumped. It's like, do I want to be funny? Do I want to look kind of cute? Am I trying to be cool? Do you mix all of them? It's so many variables.
I so don't love looking cool on Halloween.
I think funny's the route.
it is always the route.
Because I feel like for girls, it's something where everybody looks so hot. Where for guys, I feel like it's better to put into the funny thing. Because if you try to look cool and you're kind of at like a 7, it's like, oh dang, you try to look cool and you're just not that cool.
Failed.
Whereas if you just look like an idiot from the get-go, people are like, oh, this guy's kind of sick. I like this guy,
Yeah, I learned that lesson the hard way. I dressed up as a Chippendale.
Oh.
A Chippendale. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, a dancer. It didn't hit.
I don't know.
Do we have a reference?
I'm trying to find a picture here. I almost don't want to. What'd you say? It was in college when I was at OU. Yeah, I
You went to school?
What the fuck?
Yeah, he went to school. He's a dropout.
I'm a school guy.
Yeah, but
Okay.
he's smart though. He was a
Clearly.
It was
Yeah,
a tough
AP.
decision. It was a tough decision to drop out of school.
I think you made the right one. Something,
think so.
Something tells me that.
I think so.
That might have been the
Would you
right
put your
choice.
money on him in a fight against the best boxer in the planet?
Yeah. I was talking about this with them today. I wish I knew more about that world. Obviously, I know who Mayweather is. I know he's undefeated. But you're a beast, dude. You're pretty gnarly
Big
guy.
boy, yeah.
Yeah,
I appreciate that, Sam.
I also feel like, I don't know, you're one of the most determined people I've ever met. Like you're one of those humans where it's like, okay, even if I fall flat on my ass, like I'm gonna go 180% at like making sure that there wasn't one bit of me that didn't try as hard as I could.
Yep.
And I'd like to say in most cases it generally works out for you. So
Yeah.
I wish I knew more of that.
Historically-
I wish I could have a more educated answer, but
No, you're right. I was talking to my comrades today. It's tough. It's hard to beat hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Like really hard work. Granted, obviously Floyd,
yeah.
but in general, I'm saying if you work your ass off in any capacity,
Yeah.
or at the capacity that I do and the people around me do, it's tough. It's tough to fail, like really fail.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like actually lose.
No, I tell everybody that you've got to be. I'd say in like the top 3-4 hardest working people that I
Oh,
can call.
God.
I can call friends.
Who's come on? Who?
Don't put me on the spot, but
Who else?
I'm saying in
Just say-
fairness, I definitely
Well, I gotta go find him and beat the shit out of him.
No, yeah, come on, top 3. We can't live with that. We gotta just be number 1 every time.
That's the shtick, dude.
Let's keep it fair, you know.
yeah, true.
Should we get down to business? I don't
What
know.
do you-
I don't know what business is.
We don't either, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's a real shoot the shit kind of day.
Yeah.
I mean, why do people want to shoot with the Sam Dameshek? Like, why is it so attractive to shoot with you? Why does Justin Bieber want to shoot with you? Why does Sweeney Todd want to shoot with you? Like, why does everybody want to shoot with Sammy D?
I think that reason differs, but I'd like to say it's tough because it's from my perspective, and obviously I try to interpret like, you know, what's enticing about what I do. You know, what clearly there's something that makes people want to work with me, and I think it's a range of different things. I think when it comes down to women, I like starting in middle school, I was like friend zoned with every girl at school. Like I always like, you know, they'd always talk to me about their problems. Like I for some reason had, I'd like to say like an inviting personality when it came to like the opposite gender. And I was always someone that like made it so people could take their guard down and feel comfortable and that kind of thing. And then definitely being really, really close with my mom. I mean, my mom's my best friend in the whole world. So I think like having that figure so close to me my whole life just made, you know, it made my dynamic with women something where you know, it's like I felt like I understood them more. And then when it comes to shooting, it's like you want to know like how does someone want to be portrayed? Like you have to really, it's a lot of, I think photography is like so psychological and people don't understand that. Like a lot of it is like, you know, what does this person want to feel like? Like it's such a trust that someone's putting in you. You're painting the picture of what they could potentially look like to the rest of the world. And you want to do the best job, but you want to be taking into consideration, you know, what's going on up here? What don't, you know, what maybe would they want to avoid, or like, what is it that they want to feel like, be like, you know, what's the most authentic but best representation of themselves? And I feel like with girls specifically, I'd like to say I've had a good way of kind of figuring that out. And I think I've always built like a really comfortable environment, which, you know, I'm sure you've seen with lots of stuff going on the internet. Like there's people that haven't, or they have the wrong motives. I have an online course and I tell every photographer, like, if you don't have just, how do I articulate this? Like your intentions have to be 150% in the right place, or else it won't work.
You can't lead with your pee-pee.
You can't.
Is that what you're saying?
You can't. You can't. But not just that, because it's like even if it's like fully like, oh, I want to make money, or I want to use this as just solely as my plane ticket to go around the world, or I want to be able to. I'm gonna learn how to shoot concerts, so I can shoot a lot of concerts. It's like, you know, in the more innocent ways, it's gonna work for a while. But at the end of the day, if you want to be the best of the best, it's gonna fall. If you're really leading with bad intentions, like you're leading, you know, to get close with women and get with girls and this kind of thing, like there's a lot of people that they made it really far doing that, but it catches them every time.
And in this past year, it's caught a lot of guys in the past year or two. We've seen a lot of these stories of guys who have taken pictures either with half consent, no consent, and utilized it at a later time. What's it been like to have you had to, not you personally, but have you had to at all change your approach, or have you started to do anything differently in light of these scandals that have involved photographers in Hollywood?
So a couple of different things. I mean, I will say that, you know, regardless, I'd like to say I've always done the right thing and I've always led with integrity, but it obviously like makes you hyper conscious of it when like people, you know, for a long time, it's like you didn't hear about someone just getting taken out in the matter of 3 hours from like a 10-year long career. Whereas now that's like very much a thing. And I'm glad for it because clearly they were doing some fucked up stuff. And then second of all, it's like, it does make you hyper conscious of like, it's easy. The ego is crazy, you know, like being a guy is crazy. Like there's, you can get kind of drunk on your own success or motive or like what you're doing and get really wrapped up in like, you know, the comfortability. It's like if you've been doing really, really well at something for a long time, it's easy to forget the little details that like you have to always remember, like what made you, what made people like you, like what, you know, what was that drive or that energy, or what did you put off when you first started showing up to set? Just because you're this big deal doesn't mean you can't, you know, dot your I's and cross your T's and that kind of thing. And I think that like, you know, it's a good reminder, and it definitely makes you more conscious of like everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you see this? You remember this blacklist that came out? This photography
Yeah.
blacklist. Obviously, this was big in your space.
Give us some context, Mike.
So basically, there was a couple of Instagram accounts in 2018, 2019, and I think even this year that released blacklists to protect models from sexual assault and people with, as you would call it, like ill motives.
I think it was Shit Model Management.
Shit Model Management was the first one to really break the blacklist. Did you know any of these of the people named on this list?
Yeah. So there's a catch-22 with this thing. Like it's. I think the intention was right.
Yep.
You know, I think the purpose was there because even with like girlfriends of mine that are new to the industry, you know, guys too. Don't get me wrong, but obviously, like, I feel like a lot of this has been, you know, women being vulnerable to like just ugly men in this space.
Yep.
You know, I mean a lot of them that are like new to this industry and they're about to pop off and they find themselves in rooms with people where I'm like, yo, like you might, you know, like can't say anything for certain, but like be careful with that guy, be careful with this person, that kind of thing. So I think the intention of the list was great. The only problem is that, you know, I've been told, and based on like my own personal experience with certain people named, it kind of seemed like there was a lot of people thrown on and there wasn't enough validation as to like, you know, did this actually happen?
Yeah.
And I think that happens with a lot of celebrities. I mean, how many people just get like attacked on Twitter because someone on TikTok or whatever just made something
And
up.
it turns into
Like-
a thing.
like
it
just
becomes news.
Yeah, just made something up and it's trending and it's this huge thing and it's like, yo, like people just they wanna cling on to something, they want, you know, and I think in this situation it's different. I don't think it was necessarily like clinging on to, oh yeah, fuck that guy, but it was very much like, you know, they build this list and it's powerful. It worked. It shut down a lot of people.
Completely
I mean,
devastated some major photographers, and it also, like, to your point, like, this was a part of very much fell under the umbrella of Believe All Women, which we, you know, are supporters
which
of.
we should.
But what they did do with this list that I thought I guess was helpful was they did mark some with an asterisk that were mentioned more than 3 times. So like once you start to see this repetition and this system of mentioning these people, yo, this person tried to do this person tried to do this, like how many times do you think is ironic or coincidental before it turns into an actual thing?
So that's the problem. That's like, I wish there was a way to like really, you know, make this something that was 100% reliable. I think in a lot of ways it was, but the issue is that, you know, not naming names, but I did know people that got put on and got an asterisk next to them, and like word to word, like knowing 95% of the people they've worked with, not one person has anything bad to say.
Right.
And then them showing me, like, you know, there was this thing of, I think one photographer was posting like screenshots of him reaching out to the account being like, you know, like they posted tagged every girl they've worked with, like somebody says something bad to me, reaching out to the account like, hey, like you got to take my name off this list.
Yeah.
And then the account being like, you know, kind of like, fuck you, and then putting in an asterisk next to their name as in like, don't come after us.
Oh, man.
I mean, that maybe part of that speculation, that's what I was hearing. It was like a lot going on. I'd like to believe that's, you know, that there's something to it, but I don't know. It's a crazy world we're living in. I think there's a lot of good in it. Like I think it's something that should happen, and I love this idea of, you know, people in such a vulnerable, intimate space having that sense of like, okay, like don't fuck with me. Like people will come after you. Like I'm protected
For sure.
But at the same time, it's like cancel culture is a power trip to a lot of people. I mean, it could be a power trip to just some 12-year-old sitting in their living room that goes and writes some shit and it picks up, and then all of a sudden there's like this completely fabricated story that takes someone out that didn't do anything wrong, and like I can't imagine what that would feel like.
Horrible.
That'd be horrible. It'd be horrible.
Do you think that I've been seeing a lot of conversation about cancel culture the past couple weeks. Do you think cancel culture is real? Because there's a lot of people who have been canceled, like fully canceled. I mean, yo, this person is done.
They're done.
That are just creating content right now, making a shit ton of money, and are very not canceled. Like, do you think cancel culture, does it have a shelf life? Are people able to, is it that people are coming back from it?
I think it's dependent. I think it's dependent on
The crime. It's
dependent on the crime, but also the industry.
Okay.
It's like there's no denying that certain people, like, it's going to be much more sensitive, which is kind of like the way your brand's built. It's like, take some comedians that say shit that's just like, it's like if I went online and said something that like half these comedians would say that people laugh at, people would be like, you're a
Done
piece
forever,
you're
yeah.
a piece of shit. Like you're done.
Yeah.
But then it's like a comedian's brand is being this dry, like open human being, or like you take rappers that like have some graphic stuff that's in their song and they get accused of different shit. And I've watched that blow over now like a bunch of times, and I'm like, wait, so it's just so wishy-washy.
Yeah.
It's tough, you know?
It is super circumstantial, and man, you're right. Some people are highly insulated just because of the brand that they've built.
Yeah.
I mean, like the Nelk Boys, for example.
Oh yeah.
We've talked about it before. I don't know if
It's
they
just
can ever
tough.
get
I mean,
canceled.
yeah, if you come out from the gate and you're like, "Hey, what's up, motherfuckers? I'm a scumbag." You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I mean, that was very much my approach. Yo, I smoked crack for 10 years, sold
Yeah.
drugs to everybody, crashed every car I ever bought, assaulted people. Like, what do you expect me to say that's gonna piss somebody off at this fucking point?
I didn't know that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's very much.
I'm scared.
Now, of course, it's been 10 years, and I've
But
been.
it's fucked up. Do you still got it in you, bro?
I mean, somebody
Like,
fucks
would
with
you-
my boy.
would you
They're
still
already
assault?
They're already saying that now. I got to go up against some of the money team dudes, the Floyd Mayweather sidekicks.
I feel
and
like-
these dudes are big, bro.
Hold him back. Hold him back.
Yeah.
Just
you don't
didn't-
fuck with my boy, bro. He'll tell you the only times he's seen me get hyped up, it's not when somebody attacks me. It's when somebody attacks him, bro.
No, I see that defense in your eyes.
Oh,
like
you
you would
know
just
what?
you
This
would
is my little brother.
you would
bro.
not think twice.
No.
That's
Yeah.
Papa Bear.
Yeah.
Papa Bear right here.
I think anything sexually charged in cancel culture.
It sticks.
Yeah. I know you don't come back from those.
and rightfully so. But I mean,
And you
even
shouldn't.
And you shouldn't.
No, right,
And you
right.
shouldn't.
Which is why I think when the blacklist came out, I was like, oh, being in the industry, I've seen this stuff behind the scenes, and it was.
Yeah, like that's a
I think-
that's a crime. Like that's the thing, and that's the other part of it. Like if it's a
it felt. I'm really big on accountability, like for myself,
Yeah.
for perpetrators, anyone who's done a wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some things are unforgivable, like straight up.
I mean, elephant in the room. You had a cancel moment. You got in trouble.
Hold on.
You made.
There's no elephant here. Sam.
Well, I know, but you
well,
made.
unless you're making a fat joke. I mean,
No.
Come on, Mike.
Brother, you look great.
Thank you.
No, but
Thank
I
you.
think
I deal with another co-host that's very mean.
elephant whatever. Don't come at me with the. You were accountable, and I think that was the best thing. you
Dude,
did,
it taught
you know?
me a major life lesson. I actually I'm gonna spin this on you,
Oh no!
podcast host.
Wow.
Guide conversation. It taught me just a lot about humility and accountability and responsibility and any other words that end in ility.
Hillbillies.
And it taught me a lot about myself and where I was at that point in my life, and that it's not a place that I wanted to be. So I used the reference. There was a fork in the road somewhere in my life. I chose the wrong path. This reset me. I had to go backtrack, unwire my mind. What happened? What went wrong? And most importantly, why? And then I went down a path that I'm digging this.
Yeah.
This is pretty good. So I was going to ask you, because you've had so much success at a young age, and I think it's just starting for you. And you speak from such a place of self-awareness, A, and then B, humility.
Mm-hmm.
How do you stay humble?
It's a tough question, because I constantly find myself in moments where I feel like, you're humble. People don't know half the shit that you've got going on or whatever it is, But then there's also moments where I'm like, dude, get over yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I think part of it is having, I think one huge factor outside of yourself is who you have around you. I think it's so critical coming to new success to have people that, like, it's good to have people to hype you up, but I think constantly having people around you that bring you back to earth and be like, yo, like, you're a guy. Like, you're just a 21-year-old fucking dude.
You're a guy.
Like,
Yeah.
relax. Like,
Yeah.
it's, you're sick. Don't get me wrong. Like, we think the world of you, but hey, just chill out a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, that's been really helpful. But and role models, being around people that are just, so much more successful than like I am or I could even fathom, and watching the way they move. Like, I work a lot with Shawn Mendes, and I don't know if I've ever told him this, but he's so humble in this insane way where it's just the way he moves and the way he treats people is just like, I'm like, wow, like, like you're as big as the world, and you just you walk into a room and everything is so compassionate and sweet, and he's patient and he treats everyone as an equal, and it's like that was like, being around people like that where it's like, okay, like
If
you
he
know?
can do it, I could do it.
Exactly.
If he can do it, I definitely should do
But
it.
I think there's this thing where people confuse, I think I don't know. I have a theory that it's not about being 100% humble. I think there's a huge balance. I think that a certain amount of ego is good in a sense, like I think that it walks a fine line between like self-worth and like confidence, ego, cockiness, like all those words are kind of, like in a pool together.
Yep.
And they teeter. But I mean, I think it's okay to be like, I'm good at what I do. Like,
Sure.
or like, have self-respect for yourself, not allow yourself to be treated a certain way in certain situations, or, or even just, like it's okay to feel like the shit too. Like that's good confidence. It's kind of like, when you're running a race and like, if you're in the front, it's like a slap in the ass. Like I'm going to try to go that much
like
faster.
A tailwind, yeah.
And sometimes the best slap in the ass is like yourself, just being like, dude, you're doing good. Like love yourself. Like this is sick. And I think like maintaining that, like having that confidence and whatever you want to call it, but balancing the like be grounded, like don't get ahead of yourself, don't that's really important. And then it's just one of my favorite expressions recently is, I'll look to the camera for this one. I think Jerry Lorenzo said this from Fear of God, but he said talent puts you in rooms that only character can keep you in. And that is just so insanely important. It's like you can be so good at something, but if you just suck, like you're fucked,
Like
and,
as a person. You mean.
Yeah, it's like if you just suck as a person, and if you let ego and things consume you, it's like that's gonna trickle into the way like people feel around you and your energy. And I feel like it's just, I don't know, it's just all around. You just gotta keep reminding yourself, just like look in the mirror and be like, all right, like, where do I need to work on things? Be overly analytical of like the way people feel when they're with you and that kind of thing. And
I like what you're saying though about confidence, because especially in the field that you're in or that Logan's in, content creation, there's such a innate vulnerability that already pre-exists in that space. Like you're putting a piece of yourself out there every time you release a project. And I think that vulnerability is almost balanced by a little bit of ego or confidence. And
it has to be.
I think if you're in a place like, not talking down on these very essential roles, but like an accountant or somebody that works strictly on data, it's without that ego, your work still stands for itself. Like you're not putting, you know that what you're putting out there is going to be received well because it's statistically correct.
And art is so subjective, where it's
correct.
like, some person could look, whether it be style, music, the way you design your house. Like art has a lot of different mediums, but it's one of those things where somebody's not going to like it. Somebody might love it. And it's also this thing of, technically it could always be better in some way. It's like no matter what you put out, if you're always striving, there's always going to be that feeling of like, oh, like it could have been that much tighter, it could have been that much better. But you got to accept that. Like you got to almost cherish it and like kind of celebrate that it can be better and use that excitement to drive you. Because if you're just constantly like, yeah, like here's this thing I made, it sucks, I hate it, everyone's like, no, it's great, I'm like, yeah, it sucks. Like people, it doesn't translate. Like, at a certain point, people aren't going to be like, oh, he's so humble, like he hates his great work. It's going to be like, they're going to start to be like, man, does it kind of suck? Like, you gotta love what you sell to a certain point, and it's all right to be like, yeah, but being prideful of something and being like, okay, this could be better. Like I learned this, but it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's not. It'll never be perfect, but it's good.
It's easy when you have a great product too. Like, bro, like let's be honest, the stuff that you put out is phenomenal. I mean, it's art.
But
This is not photography. It's art, bro.
filling up a gas tank.
It's a cool little shot, right?
Yeah. And Sam, I'm sure this was this like a planned shoot, or you guys just showed up at a gas station and you said stand there?
Well, no, it was
ADG.
planned to go to the gas station. She wanted something that was like Batman-esque.
She got it.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the gas station and shoot this photo, but that was like the only plan was like, all right, something kind of like cinematic Batman-esque. Go to a bathroom.
Did you actually need gas? Did you
gas
actually
station.
fill up the tank?
I actually think she did.
Good.
Yeah, I think she did.
That's authentic.
Yeah, we
And
gotta
I
keep
can-
it real.
and I can relate to that.
We gotta keep it real.
The way the balance you found is very impressive. It's very impressive.
Thank you.
Spinning it. when you find someone that you're working with, and you work with a lot of celebrities who don't have that balance of humility and confidence, will you let them know? Will you be vocal about it? Will you swallow an opinion to continue a relationship?
Yeah, I would. In certain cases, I think if somebody like outwardly said something that was just like, dude, like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
You know, I'd be like, I don't know if I'd fully like just call them out, but I would put off the vibe like, hey, that's like, you know, be cool, like it's not okay.
Yeah.
But it is a tough thing where I'm sure we all find ourselves in positions where it's kind of like, you know, you want to be 100% real. You know, I try to never be fake, but I would be a liar, as would most people, if I said that I didn't, you know, here and there covet 100% of what I was feeling. Sometimes that's to protect someone's feelings. I think honesty is great, but there is a way to do it. And then, yeah, it's like there are relationships, and I've had relationships with people in the industry that, you know, I don't necessarily see eye to eye with, or like I don't love. I love parts of them. Maybe I love what they do, and it's tough, and I might not be as adamant on working with them. But as far as, you know, just saying it how it is.
It's ironic. It's the juxtaposition of you being in an industry where your art, in most cases, requires such vulnerability and authenticity and a realness to it, in an industry that is the exact opposite of all those things, for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, damn. Show business in general can be so superficial and full of ego. I can't imagine how often you come across someone where you're stunned, or you probably won't work with someone twice if they have a crazy ego, right?
Yeah, because it's like there's got to be chemistry.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you got to be able to like vibe with someone, especially right now where I'm at. It's like I only want to be putting out stuff if I feel like it's the best thing I can put out. And I can only put out the best thing I can put out if there's a comfortability and like respect for each other and, you know, kind of a camaraderie on the project. Whereas at one point it was like, I feel like I could get past certain things where, yeah, no, I don't think I'd work twice with someone that just kind of sucked. I will say I don't run into that too often. I don't know if maybe I don't know if it's maybe because of the position I'm in. But it's not too often that I work with someone that I feel like just is like a total asshole or like completely full of themselves.
Right.
The only like image I can paint is because maybe who you are.
Yeah.
Right. Like people respect you. You're a respected artist and force here in Hollywood. But
also,
how do you treat strangers? Right. That's like my gauge.
Oh yeah. For sure.
I'll be around, you know, people and just watch how they interact with the random person who comes up and wants a photo, just wants to say hi, tell them they appreciate their work.
I think the most disgusting thing someone can do is like talk down to somebody in the service industry, like a waiter or something. Like it
infuriates
or like an Uber driver. Anytime I've seen that happen, I'm like, that's actually when I'm like, yo, don't fucking talk like that. Like, don't act like that. Like I said, not too much, but yeah, it's definitely.
I check people. This is why I ask. Like, I'll actively say, hey, just so you know, there's probably like a better way to address that. Or I noticed you didn't say please and thank you once throughout the meal. Everything was a bit of a demand and not a polite request. Because it does matter. Like, language is important. How you talk to people is important. I can always tell sitting at this table, man, I'm so excited to see your growth. You're going to be like a great dad. You strike me as such a responsible, like, young man with such a good head on your shoulders. And
I appreciate it.
Mom's right there. She's
you guys did fantastic.
Thanks, guys.
and, you know, the first thing I remember my dad taught me growing up, beat it into my head. Please, thank you, firm handshake. That was it. You know Greg Paul.
GP. He's coming at you.
Back to the basics.
Yeah.
Just a simplified version of just respect and good virtue.
Yeah.
It starts there.
Yeah.
You know?
Honestly, dude, please and thank you. Dude, Jake Paul stuns people at dinner, right? We're talking about Jake Paul, the notorious Jake Paul. He got this image in the headlines and in the media. But when you're at dinner with him, he'll go, "May I please have the salmon?" Yes. Thank you. Tip twice as much as it should be. Like, you know, he has this image, but that language, that politeness, that respect goes a long way.
Yeah, I mean, and that's how it is for so many people too. It's like you don't really know until you feel someone's energy, or like you see them act in a way that's not directed towards you. It's like to what you said, you know.
Yeah.
I think to a certain level though, like just intuition. I find like the older and older I get, I feel like sometimes within a few minutes of being around somebody, I just have like this gut feeling that, like,
Sure.
that rarely, even if they're doing nothing wrong, they could in fact be really nice, and something in me, I'll be like, I don't know why, but I'm just gonna trust this because it's not like I get this all the time, and I feel really weird about whatever might be going on here. You know,
one of the other reasons I feel like you don't run into too many situations where you're shooting with someone with an ego is because, you know, based on what you said earlier and what your mom has instilled in you, your ability to make people feel comfortable. These people are your friends. These people that you're looking at on your Instagram feed right here, these are not clients. These are not, you know, people that asked you for a photo. These are generally situations where you're hanging out with these people.
Yeah.
Would you say that relationship building is the, you know, and the relationships you have with these people is the number one reason you're able to get these shots because of how comfortable you're able to make them?
Yeah, it's crucial. Another thing, like I always say too, is that it's hard to do this percentage, but let's just, for the sake of making it easy, 50, you know, call it 50% is what you're creating and how good you are at it. I think the other 50% of it is social skills. What, you know, and by social skills, I mean networking, making someone comfortable, building those relationships, like that whole thing. Plays into the quote from Jerry I mentioned earlier, but yeah, it's critical. Like it's so important. And I think building like a friendship and a relationship with everybody you work with, it's just, it carries into like whatever else you do, and it just makes, you could feel it, you could see it in the work, you know, whether it be.
I can see it in these photos. I mean, these people are clearly comfortable as subjects for your art. To get technical for a second, because I'm sure there's some photographers watching this. Are you more of a directory photographer? Are you shouting out commands, telling people to pose, or are you more of letting people feel themselves and can make sure you capture the shot properly?
It varies, but something I like to try to do, I mean, it's a little harder if you're shooting in like a studio or something like that, but something that I really strive for is to create worlds that like people can live in. You know, it's like even like this photo of this girl staring straight at the camera, it's like I'd like to believe that something about it feels like I just caught her glance, like it's just real. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel posed. There's that little element. And what I try to do is like create these environments where it's like, you know, I'm a fly on the wall. Like pretend I'm not here. If you look at me, you glance at me like I just got your attention, and you know, like kind of walk them through a thought process or give them a situation where it's like, all right, maybe you're having a glass of wine and you're in my backyard, and you know, what does it feel like? Play some music, make this environment that's got like a good vibe, and then kind of talk to them, and as I'm talking to them, start shooting, and then move through that, and then or like give somebody a direction, like not necessarily like raise your arm, but like, hey, go pick that up, and then as they're moving, like, wait, like do it again and stop like right here, you know, like kind of just see what kind of comes from someone naturally. That's like where my direction normally stands, but then there's certain instances where it's pretty specific of like how I feel like it needs to look. You know,
what are some of your favorite character traits of your subjects?
Favorite character traits?
Yeah, like or just characteristics that they have. They come onto set, right? They're seasoned. They have rhythm. They have a fun
what
vibe.
makes a good subject?
Yeah.
Couple things. I mean, I get it when someone's quiet. Sometimes it's cool to like work with somebody that's quiet and then they open up. But obviously someone that like you can talk to and you start to like riff with, and like, you know, realistically, a lot of times shooting with somebody, you're opening yourself up to each other so much. So you might as well like open up from here too. Someone that like, you know, you could talk to, you play music, they're having a good time. But also, you know, it's just, you ever just see those people and just like the way they move, something about it's like cinematic. It's just like, you know, they
this type.
They pick up a glass of water and they make it look like the coolest shit you've seen all day.
But how much of that is, and I want to, the way you structure it is fascinating to me. Your process is fascinating because I'm looking at, I very much believe, like in any other industry, there's levels to this shit, right?
Yeah.
And so for a lot of photographers, you get on site and they say, like you said, lift your arm like this, lift your arm up like this. You know what I'm saying? You have already created a movie Like you're basically photographing a scene from a movie. Like in your mind, this girl, you're at a coffee shop and you know it's 5 a.m. in New York City and you very much caught her glance.
Yeah.
Do you think that your direction and your premeditated scripting on this kind of stuff aids in their ability to be that actor and be that subject for your scene?
I think it's also knowing like what to cater to people. It's like you can't put everybody in the same world. You know, it's like there's people that are going to thrive in certain environments that others might not. So trying to figure out what that might be is pretty important. Yeah. And people are funny. Just be fucking funny. Don't be too sensitive. Like if I can like shoot the shits and joke with someone while I'm working with them, like we're going to have a blast. Or if we like the same artist, especially like shooting in studio when it's like you're just jamming. It's so fun.
What's your advice to a upcoming photographer on how to like 3 do's, 3 don'ts for building rapport with a subject?
3 do's, 3 don'ts.
Or 1, as many as you want since you're the guest.
So
you know?
many. You gave him so many things to say.
Let's see. First one is always put your subject first. And that could be as simple as like, even if it's your photograph and you have the right to post it, if they're like, don't post that, do not fucking post it. Ever. Ever.
That's pretty sound advice. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but like, believe it or not, people are
Still
No, yeah,
they're
sure.
like, hey, it's my picture. I can do whatever. It's like, dude, are you out of your mind? I mean, and maybe in the same one, like, ask, hey, can I share this to the world where it lives forever? You know, like, is that cool with you?
But is that ever not to cut you off?
Seems
but
so obvious.
Is that? But I also.
But it seems obvious to us because we're in that world. But it's like, dude, there's a lot of people that don't think twice about that. I'm like, bro,
I just strangely, and I hate to say this just to play devil's advocate, but I also can understand slightly the other side of it because I know how much effort you put into these fucking photos. Like you drove to Palm Springs, you brought a 5-person crew, you brought lights, you brought electricity, you paid for the rent on the Airbnb. You took 3,652 pictures to come home, edit for 6 hours for the one photo that's going to go out to the world, and the subject says, "Yo, management says you can't use it."
yeah, and you know that's something I run into a lot where I'm gonna be biased in the sense that I might be more taste driven, where somebody might be more driven with how they look, and I don't think I've ever had a shoot where someone's like, yeah, none of this. But I've definitely had something where I'm like, holy fuck, this is the photo, and they're like, I don't really like that one, and I'm like, and that's kind of where I'm like, I would surrender. Like I would definitely, if I could tell they're adamant on like, I really don't like the way I feel in this.
Any back and forth at all? Will you
Well,
push?
see, yeah, I'll come back and I'll be like, hey, like, I get it. I just telling you, like, I have so much confidence in this. I think you look amazing. Like, maybe let me know what you don't like about it, but I really think that this is a standout image. And I think at that point, it's like, if you articulate that and you're like, I get it, but like, I really feel strongly that this suits both of us well. You know, a lot of times I'll be like, okay, like, I trust you. And if someone doesn't, then you just have to surrender. It's like, and it's not even what you share, too. Say you're shooting someone on the beach and it's cold outside and you want them to go in the water and the water's freezing, and you could just, they have that body language of, oh, I know you want this photo, like, please don't make me do this. Like, oh, like, I mean, the cold scares people, you know?
Yeah, sure.
They're just kind of swallowing it and being like, yeah, that's fine. Like, just try to make sure everybody always leaves in, like, really high spirits. And yeah, you know, maybe the photos will be great and they'll be like, okay, it was worth it. But I think, like, coming in and coming out of it and having someone feel better than they did when they got there and being like this polarizing human being that they want to be around, like, that's just going to carry you so far. That's like the biggest do.
I got absolutely fucking bamboozled because of a photographer who doesn't have
The same kind of
the moral standards that you have. Bro, I'm like, I don't even want to tell this story, but I have to, right? It's impulsive. And I already brought it up, but
Are we being impulsive enough, by the way?
yeah, this is actually a really good podcast.
Yeah,
This is like
intriguing.
every now and then we have a podcast that feels like
Smart,
a podcast.
A podcast, exactly.
Yeah.
And this feels like an actual podcast,
Yep.
and it's
Industry, tactical.
Like, when
stuff.
is the comedy skit
We
start?
can start talking about dick soon if you want.
Okay.
Well, here's
this
one.
might lead into
This
it.
is
Sitting next to Logan, it's pretty top of mind, you know?
Yeah.
So, you got bamboozled.
I got bamboozled.
What a
Sam.
crazy bamboozle. How about, can we just get a bamboozle?
It's a great term.
Bamboozle.
I say it all the time. It's fantastic. All right, so listen.
Tell me.
I came out to Hollywood, And I started doing all these photo shoots, and I got bigger and bigger opportunities the bigger that I got. And I was never, and I'm still not good at saying no. Like if you said, hey, you know, it's winter in California, do you mind hopping in that ocean? I'd say, yeah, Sam, whatever you need. Then I'd go home and I'd call my manager and be like, this fucking asshole made me get in the water. Like I'm that dude, right?
Yeah.
I'm the dude, the food's terrible at the restaurant. How's your food? This is so good. Thank you for allowing us to be here at the moment. And it's trash, right?
Yeah.
I'm just not good at putting my foot down. I've gotten better.
It's really surprising.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm good now because of things like what I'm about to say. All right, got an opportunity to.
He's really trying not to tell this story or show these pictures, one or the other, because I'm seeing one right now. It's just ridiculous, dude.
Oh!
I wonder if I've seen him.
Oh, you have. It's probably. It's douche Paul. It's
bad.
It's douche boy.
It's bad.
Listen.
Listen.
I feel like. Oh, just go ahead.
All right, I got this opportunity. Logan Paul, we want you in Paper Magazine.
I've seen him.
You know what I'm gonna say?
Yeah.
We got this opportunity for you to have a feature in Paper Magazine. I said, Paper Magazine? Wasn't Kim Kardashian just on that?
Big
With
deal.
it was she broke the internet.
Yeah.
That was what it was called,
Yeah.
break the internet. So I said, yeah, absolutely. Like, I'll come on do this Paper Magazine shoot. And they told me they wanted to do a shirtless photo shoot, and they assigned me with a photographer. And I was very excited because I was really into physique at that point and looking good and having that six pack, and like I just got to Hollywood, man.
What happened? You know.
Yeah. So I go and I take some photos. I took this one. I'm gonna put it in the corner because I'm hiding a photograph. But I took this one right.
Peace, y'all.
My physique was good, but
You look great.
I
Look
cut,
at his abs,
I cut a
bro.
lot of weight, dude.
I'd buy him dinner.
Facts.
I cut a lot of weight, and then we took this one, which I also loved. This was the one.
it just
no,
disappeared.
Jesus, what happened?
That looks.
This was the one that graced the cup.
How about just pull the photo over in full, the actual photo?
Fine, I'm going. All right. Look. Is there a ghost?
Somebody does not want this story
No,
out.
it's a setup. He doesn't. He
Why
doesn't
is
want
it
to show us.
disappearing? Wait, but you see it right for a second, and then watch. Oh, it's okay. So look, I did this splits photo, and it was pretty good.
Your hair.
And I mean, when I say pretty good, I mean just not good at all, but like interesting.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
Good hand soap selection too, and avocados.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
that's great. So
Cracked an egg.
That's good.
And then the photographers after were like, "Yo, do you mind like taking some more pictures?"
Oh,
with-
that's you. It's
with,
like,
like-
the whole set leaves, all the PAs, like everybody leaves, and he's like, "You mind taking
Do
a
you mind
few
taking
extras
some
for
more,
my
like,
own?"
like with my boyfriend? Like he's a model, right? He's on Instagram, and I was like, "No problem." Right? Like obviously these aren't for the magazine. Of course, that'd be fucking crazy, right? Because we
Yeah.
finished our shoot, and I'm telling you right now,
But
that
hey, you're,
these aren't for the
the
magazine.
juices are flowing.
Exactly, and I was happy with this, and I had cut weight, so I was eating food. I was stoked, and so, dude, we get on these skateboards, right?
Oh my!
And then we're just skateboarding, dude, down the street, and he's snapping these photographs, and I'm like, what is happening? How did I get in this situation? This is the worst moment of my life. And then he took this one too. And I'm this is happening, and no, it is that bad because they published these in Paper Magazine. These are the ones they published, bro. I have the print, and I call my manager. And I go, what the fuck went wrong here, or was it?
Wait, you didn't get
communicated?
to approve?
No.
Nothing.
They sent these as the images in paper.
Well, I'm really a saint.
And this
All
one
right.
too! This one
God,
too!
stop!
Dude!
Oh fuck.
What happened? Why is this guy wrapped around my body? Why did Who is
Who
he?
is that man?
He was the photographer.
Oh, stop!
Yeah, and I remember,
So okay, let me ask you: is that's kind of
Yeah, I'd say that definitely goes against the grain of what you should and shouldn't do.
it's not my brand. It's not my brand.
All right, what went wrong with that photo with the dual peace signs right there, though?
This one.
No, the next one down. That
This one.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's-
You look like Owen Wilson.
You're talking to Mickey Bowen from Valley
That's the
Girl.
Logan Paul I met.
No, that's
for the
Mickey
first
Bowen.
time.
I don't want to talk about it. But look, man, I remember this being one of the worst experiences I had in Hollywood. I felt completely betrayed. It was already weird for me to be posing like shirtless and like really tight underwear, and I found out that none of this was like sanctioned by Paper Magazine. It was like a freelance guy who had like a loose relationship with him, and we had a very long back and forth about how what he did was so fucking unprofessional and wrong, and apparently he had done it to some other people as well. That's where the story ends.
Yeah, no,
And
I get
I'm
it.
glad it ends here.
Crazy. So people flexing relationships as like a credibility point. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, yeah.
I shoot for Paper Man. Do you see a lot of that? Is that happening a lot in LA?
Yeah, you know what I think the one that bugs me more is like someone posting a photo that they like. It'd be like Logan back in the days of like the club being open, like Logan hanging out there and somebody like some kid with maybe like a little film camera like snapping a picture of him and then posting it'd be like new work with @LoganPaul, like shot by me.
Yeah,
which
hold
It's
on.
always my homie, just so you know.
My boy.
Me with my homie.
Do you now? Let me ask you. A
which
question.
I just so I don't get in trouble, I definitely at some point in my younger day I'm sure I've done that before because I
That's
got
what
excited.
I was gonna ask you.
But I'm telling you, don't
Don't
do
do
it. Don't, because if I could go back and not have done it, I wouldn't have. It didn't necessarily. It's one of those things where you don't really know how it bites you in the ass until you grow up a little bit and you're like, yeah, that person probably saw. It's kind of just like, oh, they won't even see that I posted it. Like no one will. They probably did, and they're probably like, fuck that kid. Like
Right.
I'm not his homie.
Right. Nor did I want my photo taken. Nor did I want this post. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's gonna take a while to outlive that you did the whole like, hey, let me just take your image and then,
Rip
So
it.
that's one of your don'ts. Don't be that guy.
Don't. Just wait till you authentic. Like I think there should be rules. It's like someone's full attention. Maybe you guys talk, and it's something where it's like, you know each other's name. There was a communication, and even if it was a quick instance, it's like there was a moment. Like there was engagement. But if that's not the case, then just sit back on it, because your time will come. Like don't rush things. You can only meet somebody. You only meet somebody for the first time one time.
Nice.
And
Love that.
it's true. And I'm looking over here because it's really important. Like, it's good to seize the moment, but don't get ahead of yourself. Really, it's tough to give advice on this because it's kind of just one of those things I can't really articulate like the formula for it, but just try to find it in yourself to know, like, is this the best time?
That's so
like, is this the right time, or is another time gonna come?
But it's also an important balance too, because there are a lot of people who will sit and wait forever. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I think you're 1,000%. Do you have a piece of feedback for the kid who's sitting home watching this right now? He's got 16.5 thousand on Instagram. He takes really good photos. He's got a great camera. He really wants to shoot Logan Paul, or he really wants to shoot Addison Rae. Is there anything you can think of that could be the way for that to happen?
Yeah. First thing I'll say is reach out. Like, a lot of the people that I now work with, at one point, I emailed their agent, their manager.
I was gonna say, don't reach out to the subject.
Don't reach out to the subject?
I was gonna say,
Really?
Every time it's been effective with me, it's been through a friend, right? They reach out to Danny, Jeff, agent, whatever it is, with. I'm sure you're gonna get there. The resume, the portfolio attached,
so important.
something. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see your work. Let's see what you got.
I personally don't think there's anything wrong with, like, sending somebody a simple DM like, hey, would love to work with you. Because for a lot of photographers, it's like, you can just click their Instagram and you have a pretty, okay, this guy's legit.
True.
I think it's a balance.
Well, there's nothing wrong with it.
I'd never see it.
That's the problem.
You know what
There's
I'm saying?
nothing wrong with it. It's just not going
It's
to
a
get seen.
visibility thing.
It's just, but the crazy thing is like, I've had people see it. Where
Okay,
I'm like,
okay.
there's no fucking way.
But it's you, Sam.
You got a blue check.
I guess, yeah.
You got the
okay,
cheat
well,
code.
then how about let's just say reach out in a professional way and don't
do both.
Yeah, don't say too much. It's where everybody fucks up. It's like I don't have that huge of a following, but like I have enough DMs that if you send me a DM that's this long about wanting to, like, intern for me or shoot me, I'm literally gonna see it and not read it.
Yep.
And maybe sometimes something will catch my glance, but if you can say a lot in the shortest way possible, just be concise. Hey, what's up? My name is such and such. This is where I'm at. Hit a few key points, right to the point. Like, in an email for me, even when I still reach out to people now, name, where I'm at, a few of the key points, love to work with you. I have a few ideas. Take a look at my
Who's the last person you reached out to that wasn't either in your Rolodex or in the network?
I reach out to people all the time. I try to remind myself to, because that's how I met so many people when I first started. And it's like, don't stop chasing. Like, to a certain, don't chase everybody. Like, manage exclusivity, but like, don't, you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, who? I'm sure they watch this podcast. We could probably get you.
You're supposed to shoot with Lana. We had talked about it. You were supposed to shoot with her, and that still hasn't gotten done yet.
Definitely got to do that.
Yeah.
As of recently, I emailed like a few agencies, which is different. Heard back from one of them, like talking to them, but then, you know, also definitely DM'd Bella Hadid and Kendall Jenner and a few of the.
They watch the show.
A few of the models I haven't worked with.
But aren't you friends with their friends?
Yeah, I am, but it's like I think things happen naturally. Like I used to also play that game too, where it's like I'm gonna work with a bunch of her friends and I'm gonna kind of use as a leverage point and be like, hey, can you introduce me? I think then once again, it's like I always preach that social climbing it teeters, where it's like there's nothing wrong with providing something to somebody and them providing you something, and that being the relationship, or like asking favors from friends with the thing of I'm gonna scratch your back, you scratch mine. That's not social climb. So here and there, yeah, but I've just found when it comes to like a certain level of person, you know, I've met everybody so far that I've wanted to work with in time. There's clearly still people I haven't, but they're there, and I've been in the same room with them, and I know, you know, I just like to believe that if it happens organically, it'll be the best. And you just have to trust that it will happen. Maybe you take little steps to get yourself closer. Like working with people they know, or kind of being like nudging someone like, hey, like if you ever think of a good opportunity where maybe I could help them out with something, like whatever it is, that's fine. But just I think you get to a certain, like I'm at a level now where I feel like if I stay on the pace I'm at, I'm going to shoot everybody with a camera. And I just
if I stay on the current pace I'm on, I'm gonna shoot everybody.
Yeah,
I swear to God,
it'll be hellacious. No, and you know, I think when you're newer in the industry, it's a little different. But I think once you get to a certain level, things are bound to happen organically if they're meant to happen. The industry just gets smaller the bigger you get.
So true.
You know, where you just start to know everybody, and if you don't know them, they know you. You know, like.
And if
or vice versa.
Everyone's had sex with everyone.
Yeah,
you see a lot of that stuff too. You're in the circle, Sam.
Yeah.
What's
LA's
incestual. That's the word, right? Is that the word?
I don't know. Is it?
I think that's what you call it. It's a sick fucking place we live in,
disgusting.
Sam.
Yeah,
it really is.
up.
Well, it sucks is like LA's an amazing city. It's like I think it's a beautiful place, a land of opportunity, like so many different
beaches, the
beach,
palm
the
trees,
mountains.
right.
Dude, LA's fucking awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But it has got to be the worst place in the world
Ever.
to fall in love.
Oh my God.
Or just
Kill me. So kill me now.
Yeah.
Shoot everyone.
Stab
Sam.
me in my eyes.
Shoot
it's
everyone.
I go to great lengths. I hike mountains. I swim through rivers.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
fight off sharks to
Yeah.
find somebody that isn't in the circle that's really big, but somehow just like 10 people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like there's a lot of them, but it's you're in high school. I feel like I'm like going to a different gym. Like, oh, it's gym period. Like, what's up, buddy? Like, you know, like everyone knows each other.
I hate it.
And you've all probably had sex.
With Tiger.
I'm so.
Yeah.
Whoops. Fuck.
Yeah, it gets wild.
At this point,
it gets
it's like
wild.
just introduce me to anyone who has it, and we can start fucking there, right? Just one girl.
You have a resume. Hey, I don't want to make things weird, but just on the low, can we just check a few boxes?
Low key. I may lead with that. Before I'm in too deep. Right? You want to say something? I'm sure.
What do you want to do?
As you can tell, guys, we're reaching some treacherous waters here on the show.
No, it's no treachery.
I'm getting a rush.
This is gonna be fun.
The first
He's
time I
heating
came,
up. He's heating up.
First time I came on the show, I remember like I'd never spoken on something, you know, where it was gonna be viewed by a lot of people, and I was like shitting myself, like, oh my God, what if I say something that like pisses someone off?
Right.
You know, where I'm thinking that, but I feel like now I'm a little less worried about it.
Well, that's what we
you're an
do.
ace at this
Don't-
point.
That's what we do here.
Don't get
too
too crazy, but you know, we could be impulsive.
Oh, nice.
No, you're doing great. I'm glad you echoed that, Sam, because I've been feeling that.
Yeah.
And I don't even know. I'm convinced I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. I'm 25. Every day goes by. I'm like, well, when am I gonna just go live alone at my ranch with my dad and the 4 cats?
Yeah, dude. People get so mad at me because I'm 21 and like, although my career is at a big point, it's realistically just starting. Like I've only lived in like my first home for like a year, like all this shit, and constantly I'm like, man, like I just want to buy a place and just like get domestic,
Settle
like,
down.
Yeah, I'm ready to settle down.
You're not gonna
Yoga.
want to hear this. Your life's over, dude.
And everyone would just smack the shit out of me, like,
Find-
dude,
find a
shut
honey-
up.
Nope.
I'm ready
It's too
for
late.
it.
It's before you've listened to this statement. It's too late.
You don't want to end up being a 35-year-old Twitch streamer, do you? Because trust me, it can happen before you fucking know it.
Look, everyone, kind of does that thing where they're like, like, have fun. And basically what they're saying is have a lot of sex with a lot of
Yeah,
people.
bro,
what it
Sam,
means.
And I'm
Sam,
like, that sounds cool, but like, how about like having someone that you just really
Sam,
love?
It's whatever. It might happen, Sam. It might happen. It might not happen. Listen. Fucking be young. You could do whatever you want. Listen to me.
What does that mean?
Listen,
What does that
brother,
mean?
He's doing the thing.
Brother.
He's doing the thing.
Be fucking young as long as you want. Age doesn't matter, of course, unless it's legally binding. Age doesn't matter. It doesn't. Brother, listen to me. When I was 26, I was like, when I was 18, I was like, damn, I really got to start looking for my job. I got to go to the university. I got to get a degree. I got to do all this stuff. And then I just smoked crack for like 10 years, bro. And still look at me, bro.
So the moral of the story is,
No, I'm not saying do that by any means. But now I'm a best-selling author. I got the, sought-after girlfriend. I got it all.
Yeah.
And I'm still just getting started. I'm still not doing any
Yeah.
adult shit. I'm a Twitch streamer.
I think
I play video games.
Roll with the punches. Roll with the punches.
Do whatever the fuck makes you happy.
Exactly.
Regardless of age. If you want to settle down and get a picket fence at 17, do it. You want to be single till you're
Got you.
60, fucking do it, bro.
Yeah.
Whatever makes you happy.
I mean, yeah,
dude.
you're especially I think with your love life, you're as long as you're not hurting anybody else, entitled to do literally whatever
That's
the fuck
it.
you want. It's like
That's it.
Does Lana make you happy?
Absolutely.
All
she
the
does.
time?
Not all. I don't think any
Give me a
relationship makes
percentage
you
of how.
happy
No,
all
well,
the
how
time.
often though?
I think it depends on what tactical
he's gonna be
period
in the
you're talking
doghouse
about.
if you.
Lately, it's been a high percentage,
good
but
for
but
you.
it goes into its dips. I mean, it's as of the past 3 days, she's rolling into that time of the month right now, and so the happiness drought is coming. It's the past couple nights we've had some fights for sure, but that's to be expected. Listen, relationships aren't perfect. They're never super easy, especially as you get past the honeymoon period.
Yeah, relationships are like the most fucked up science
Absolutely.
experiment ever. It's
Yeah.
like they have like controlled experiments. Like think about how many variables like a human being has, like being hungry or like your friend said some shit to you, but then like life just like different, like just all the different things that can make somebody be like, and just get pissed off.
Yeah,
it's
now
a lot.
add fame, wealth,
Yeah.
followers, clout,
Oh yeah.
into sex, into the matter.
Pressure.
LA, Los Angeles,
Yeah.
Menopause.
menopause. Oh, wait a sec. I'm sorry. That one shouldn't be involved. but I mean,
For you maybe.
for me, maybe I'm going
That's
through
what I'm
menopause.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. You're absolutely right. The way I always describe it is my favorite analogy. You're in life. When you're single, you're just driving down the street. You got both hands on the wheel. You could turn the car wherever you want. You can get off the exit. You can get back on. You're always in full control of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
You get in a relationship, a romantic relationship with somebody else. You got to take one hand off the wheel. They put their hand on, and now both you motherfuckers are driving the car.
But
at any moment, she could just go "Arr!" and drive that fucker right off the cliff. Now, sometimes you start to missteer, and she takes over and steers the car straight, and it's really nice to have a
but,
loving partner. But sometimes they're going through that time of the month, and they drive you straight into a bridge, dude, or off a bridge, or into a bridge. Who knows?
But do you ever feel like sometimes driving the single car, it's like there's like imagine going down a freeway and there's just so many billboards and you're like, oh wow, like look at all this.
Welcome to LA. That's correct.
And you start driving like a maniac, and
Yeah.
you're running into shit.
Yeah.
Your insurance goes up. You get a ticket, like
Yeah.
like
Get
all
arrested.
all sorts of fucked up hell happens. But you can go wherever you want.
So I take it you're single.
Yes.
Alright.
Yeah. despite my relationship marathon I had for like the last year and a half, 2 years.
Is that how long that was?
I had a few girlfriends. I went back to back, and I think I'm at a. It was just one of those things, and now I think I'm at a place where, I mean, it's been 6 months. I wouldn't be if somebody walked into my life 3 hours from now and I was just blown away. I wouldn't just be like, yeah, but I would definitely be open to pursue it. but I'm also I'm like I know what I feel like I'm starting to understand what I want. I don't know it yet, but I'm understanding it. So I'm gonna take a lot more time instead of just being like, oh shit, I'm like lonely and don't like random sex and like want someone to call when I do something cool and
Yeah.
like I'm a hopeless romantic. But I would
Well,
give.
you surely have a tattoo that says that.
No, I'm not that bad. That would suck. I
Cliche.
don't think I'd be on the show. But I'm not gonna give into that. I'm gonna like remind myself like, yo, like be cool with yourself. Like be comfortable being alone. Like
So look, dude, I can relate to all the things you're saying. It's affecting me.
mm-hmm.
The fibers of my being are vibrating.
I normally have that effect on
Right.
guys.
I can feel that. Between you and I, where are you meeting new women, or where are you looking for love, Sam? You gotta help me.
It's a good question.
I'm
to ask.
having a quarter life crisis here, dude. Especially in COVID. In COVID,
Dude just got out of a relationship.
5 seconds ago.
Hold on a second. It wasn't just. And also, I'm not looking. I'm just saying I'm panicking because this is where I'm like, oh well, that last one didn't work.
I'm gonna be alone
This
forever.
is it for me. I'm convinced this is fucking it, and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, man,
Fuck
you.
no.
His dad's over here looking on like,
This guy, you went on his podcast? Sam, get off this pussy show.
he's 25.
Gotta help
He thinks
me,
he's gotta have
Sam.
it figured out. by now.
I think there's a couple things. As far as like the all right, I fucking give up. I'm 25 thing. Just I'm like I try to stay excited by like, okay, I think I might have this idea of what love is, or like to the fullest extreme. But like realistically, I probably have no fucking clue, and like this crazy feeling that I've had could just get completely outdone, and I might look back and be like, oh my god, like just patience, and here it is.
Yeah.
So like that, let that keep you excited. But as far as looking for it, I mean, you obviously can't look for love. But as far as meeting people, I take the shallow routes, and I take Instagram. I'm on Raya. Raya's great.
They've decided not to when it comes to Logan.
Okay.
Not to what, you may ask? We don't know. They've
Okay.
just decided not to.
I'm getting on.
It's
By the Greg, what's Greg Barrett? If
It's-
you're
it's-
watching this, I know you probably got a connection with fucking somebody there.
I'm
Get
getting
the
on.
kid back on the
Ooh.
act.
it's great, but one thing I also like too is I've met I've met up with a lot of girls in the app, and then the chemistry's not really there, and we end up becoming good friends. And then maybe
fantastic.
you end up meeting one of their friends.
Oh.
It's
Having a
like
threesome.
Sorry,
Sorry, what happened?
Things just spiral.
How do you think this Raya?
But where you're hanging out too, like
Well, I don't leave my house.
He's in the garage all day.
ooh, that gets tough.
What do you mean hanging out? Like, where do you hang out?
I guess we're not really hanging out anywhere, huh?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But he's got a blue check too. I mean, it's such a cheat code, yeah.
I think
No,
I don't
it's
know.
not.
I
Not
think
really as much
It's
anymore
not.
because the saturation is
It's
so
not. It doesn't
high.
matter.
This
It doesn't matter.
actually
In Iowa, it does.
this actually ties into
yeah.
You know, I mean, it might not matter as much here because
Yeah.
everybody under the sun's got one.
this like ties into something that I was talking to my friends last night, and I was like, at first I was like, what am I going to talk about? And then I'm like, no, you know what? It'll just whatever's going to occur. But they did say one thing that I had mentioned to them, and I feel like this kind of ties into it. You said like, oh, the blue check's like a cheat code. A lot of my guy friends who like don't really understand what like this position's like, or like, dude, like every girl follows you, or like every girl knows who you are, like just DM them. And I'm like, here's the thing. It's like I almost sometimes am envious of like the account that's just like looks like a cool kid, no check mark, 1,000 followers, whatever it is. Because if they DM someone and the person replies, it's almost like this validation of like they probably saw your page. And we're like, all right, this person looks kind of dope, and you get to start things off with this edge of confidence, and it's kind of open ended to what it could be. I DM any single girl, because I'm a man. I like girls. Like I separate work and I separate pleasure, but I'm gonna see somebody where I'm gonna go, you're so attractive, you're really cool. And maybe it's somebody I would want to work with, but maybe I'm like, I'd love to like be a human being.
That's tough for you.
And what sucks is like if I reach out to them, what do you think they think I'm hitting them up for?
Oh,
to
no,
shoot.
yeah.
So even if they respond, it's not any sense of a validation that maybe they have an interest in me. And then it's also something where as soon as somebody's like, I want to work with you, I drop the like game of like, hey, like,
yeah, because you don't want to make the blacklist.
Exactly.
Oh,
so
no.
That's
the
so
whole
tricky.
conversation,
Yeah.
the whole conversation normally starting can't even really be me trying to like, it's like the small talk and the trying to be like cool and funny whenever it gets tough, because then I'm like trying to steer the whole initial part of the conversation to make it clear like him hitting you up on some human being shit outside of work.
Yeah.
And so that's why I ended up using Raya, because I was like, your dating apps. I don't know if I can mention. And I
No,
was,
because the intention's clear.
right. You'll never believe this, dude. I match with people all the time on Raya, and they message me and go, "Oh my god, I'd love to shoot with you." And I used to just not reply, and now I'll respond and be like, "Really? Like, are you fucking kidding me?"
No, Sam!
I'm serious. Like one person, like I matched with them. We had a great conversation. She was like, "Yeah." So like I was like, "All right, so like let's hang out." And she's like, "Yeah." So like, what are you thinking for the shoot? And I was like,
What's the location?
and I was like, "Oh, come on. Like you know better. Like we're on a dating app. Like you can't just let me like."
Oh man.
You know, like, what am I supposed to do? Just be absent and not like talk to anybody for the rest of my life? Should I just like go into bars and like, you know, rip off my identity? No. Like, so
yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out how to walk this line. It gets tough. It's tough.
You got it worse than me, man. Yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I was being facetious. I'll probably be all right.
Yeah.
I'll probably be good.
It's a blessing and a curse.
That's tricky.
Yeah. I feel like if
What's
you.
your Raya bio? What does it say?
I think
My name's Sam. I don't shoot photos.
No, it's
so don't ask.
I should change it to I'm not here to shoot.
You should. You really should.
And then
No,
make sure in parentheses you say
I'm only here to
Yeah.
shoot my shot.
cameras.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a couple things. At one point, I think I was drunk listening to that song "Sweet Escape" by Gwen Stefani, and she was like, "I've been a real bad girl" or something.
Oh,
I made in my bio, "I've been a bad girl" because I thought it was funny, and then I forgot that I did that, and then I was like, "Oh my god, this is like what my bio said," and then I think I just changed it to just a really handsome, funny, cool, talented, awesome, dope, confident,
Humble.
but humble guy.
Nice. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that.
That's where I'm sticking at.
Can I pitch you one?
Yes.
All right. Check it out. I like
Big
epox-
butts and
I like epoxy projects, Pokemon, and listening to audiobooks when I commute.
Beautiful.
Is it good?
That's nice.
You think I let you on Riot first? I mean,
yeah, you got nowhere to write the bio,
Okay,
man. Where are you
yeah.
gonna write it?
Well, there's other dating apps.
It's hypothetical.
Bumble, Hinge. Do I dare go on
Let's-
Tinder?
I want to.
Let's be honest, but dating apps are outdated too.
Look-
It's like the technology hasn't caught up. Part of me is hoping that somebody comes along with a dating app.
You
that
shut your
changes the
fucking
game.
mouth. You shut your
I won't
mouth.
say it, but soon I will.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the happy medium. It's like Raya's like this thing for like hot and famous people, and I have a following, but I'm like, you know, it's like I get on there and I'm like, holy fuck, look who I'm competing with. It's like, you know, it's like I mean, I can't see the guys on it, but I could only imagine that I'm up against quite the
Logan Paul, like, is that Logan Paul?
yeah, quite the
Sam.
militia of people.
No.
And I'm like, all right, can we just even the playing field a little bit? And then I'm like, no, let me go back here. And I'm
Right.
like, yeah, I don't know, but it's whatever.
It's
Just
like
having
you
just
and
having a
then
good time.
Chris Evans.
Yeah.
You're like, how am I like?
But I have a whole theory where that's concerned. When you're in this bubble of just everybody's like, and I've learned this from my roommate, and I hope he watches this. He's a goof. He just wears whatever he wants. He does whatever. He's out of his mind. And I used to always be like, there's no way this guy like gets girls. He's crazy. But he's just like unapologetically himself and just wants to like make people have fun and it's just funny. And so he'd go on the app and he made his whole profile, like, made himself look like a complete idiot, like, didn't try to look cool or attractive. And then whenever he'd match with somebody, he'd match them, like, he'd send them, like, the most absurd but, like, well-written stuff. And his success rate was just, like, way better than a lot of people because it didn't look, you know, he
Nobody
wasn't.
likes to try hard, Sam.
Well,
listen,
Nobody likes to
listen.
fucking try hard. People like funny, humorous people that aren't trying hard, bro.
Yeah.
You just show up, have a good time. Girls just wanna have fun. I know it
All right,
sounds
Cyndi
like a
Lauper.
Lady Girl song, but I'm telling you, it's the fact of the fucking matter.
Is that right, Mom? You just want to have fun?
I mean, at first, Mom, right? Like, I know deep down the line, like, it turns into more than that. But at first, girls want to laugh. They want to have a good time. You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
if you can
I just want to have a good time.
say, I know that about you.
Yeah. They just,
So
boys
now-
just want to have fun.
So now all you have to do is just show them you, because
Yeah.
that's who you are. So if you could show them the real Sam Dameshek, you already won. You won.
Yeah,
Literally.
dating pro tip. If you're on a dating app, send somebody something funny. What? Oh, right here. Send somebody something funny but like ridiculous. You know, to maybe it's like a harder to comprehend sense of humor. And the chances are they're not going to reply because they're going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
But
if they do, they're hilarious.
You're talking about witty banter.
The best.
Witty banter.
Boston. Witty
It's,
banter.
it's my gauge. It's my gauge. Right off the rip. And because I used to, I was around Raya way back in the day.
Ooh,
And
vintage.
and I used to try to be cool. And now that I'm 25, I'm like, all right, like a part of me is cool, but most of me is kind of weird. Like I'm after this, I'll go pour my epoxy, right?
Yeah.
Maybe go look up my Pokemon card, edit a video, answer some emails. Like I'm fucking weird.
You're an odd guy.
Yeah. So, a part of me now, anyways, just is fully okay with that, and maybe because my intentions back in the day were strictly to just like
Have sex.
Yeah, I mean, but let's be honest, it was a dating app. Like who fucking knows? But now it's like, okay, I'm aging up. They're a lot different now, and so I'm okay with 100% being myself. And witty banter, right off the rip, will tell me if this person is operating on any sort of weird wavelength that I am as well. And I'll throw a kitchen sink at you.
And
like
that's the way-
literally,
that's
like
the way
I'll
to do
find
it.
you
And throw
a kitchen sink at you.
Like Sam just said, when it comes to DMs and making a first impression on a dating app, take the swing. Take the full fucking swing. And there's a good chance they're going to say that it's going to go right over their head. They're not going to understand your humor. And that's fine. But but for the 3 out of 10 people or 2 out of 10 people that think it's funny that you said that you... I'm not even going to say that. Forget it. I was going to say something a girl said to me one time about storing human skin. Don't say that. Don't actually say that. Do you remember that weird girl I was talking to that time?
I have like
You do, right?
one of the more ridiculous ones top of mind. I think Grady crafted it, but it was like on my roommate, but it was on my account. He messaged somebody and he was like, "Hey, I've got this really cool date idea. I made lasagna 6 days ago, and I got a dope microwave and enough gunpowder to take out a small horse. What do you say?"
Yes.
And she replied and goes, "Fuck yeah, I'm in. I got a meatball and a death wish." And I was like, "Dude, what?
Whoa!
This girl is perfect."
So
Quick.
that's what I'm saying.
Quick.
Take that chance.
Like, I don't even know what any of that means, but I was like, "Yeah, it makes sense."
No, because that one's deep. That's deep. That's like
was
a 7 or 8 out of 10 on the witty banter. Like you'll lose a lot of people with that. But the meatball death wish response, that sounds like
what
a
does
marriage.
it mean? Nobody knows what it means, but it's provocative.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it was What Kanye says that.
That's
Doesn't
right.
It? It's
yeah.
provocative.
I knew somebody would catch that in the background. Nobody knows what it means, but it's provocative.
It's from Blades
Yeah.
of Glory.
Blades of, oh yeah,
Blades
it is.
of
That's
Glory.
right.
It's in a
originally.
Kanye song,
It is, yeah.
but it's in Blades.
Okay.
Damn, bro, shoot your shot, and when you shoot, don't shoot like everybody else. Shoot to go over the net, like hit some old lady in the bleachers behind the hoop.
All right.
Shoot that way.
So should we skip the opening credits now and just get to the fight scene, or did we already do the fight scene? Where are we at on the agenda?
Is this a Josie conversation?
No.
Sorry.
What? Do you have a fight scene? You want to fight?
No, it was an expression. Where are we at on this? Like, I could sit here all day and
Oh,
just
Mayweather.
talk to you guys.
No, I was gonna wrap it up. I mean, unless it's
Oh yeah.
Cool.
all right,
Yeah, no, I have no. It could have been 10 minutes or it could have been like 2 hours. I just
like,
don't know
I
where
have
I'm
no idea what time is. Yeah, that's all I got. Sam, thank you again for coming on Impaulsive.
at. Woo.
Yeah, we love you, dude. We love you guys. Hit him up on Instagram.
I love you guys.
Sam Dameshek, everybody.
Shoot your shot, girls. DM Sam.
Hit that subscribe button.
I'm
we love
human.
you. We'll see you next time. Take
I love
it
you,
easy,
bro.
We love you, Sam.